A lot of people ask me how Revive is different from Starecta, and I get this question a fair bit. And so I wanted to talk a bit about Starecta because I used Starecta for years, and I would say that I created Revive because I didn't think it was the full answer. And today I'm going to explain why. So let me start with a little context that I'm going to be eternally grateful to the Starecta guys. I know Moreno. We spoke on the phone even, I think, a couple times. First time in late 14 when I was trying to make my first splint. This was years before the plug and play ever came. So you would have to kind of create or source your own, acrylic resin lower splint and then try to get resin and put it on yourself and then drill it. And so I was doing this really the old school way before anyone was ever using polymorph. And so you would take a registration in acrylic resin. And so I was living in Vietnam, so I was able to get, splint and the resin. And the first time I thought it was going to stick to my teeth and I was going to have like a splint stuck on my teeth. And so Marcello helped talk me through making my first Starecta splint. I think it was October or November of 2014. And he was really nice about it. And I was the second person to my knowledge, to do Starecta outside of Italy. Starecta, I think a number of guys had done it inside Italy, and Starecta was an evolution of some other kind of approach that was a bit popular in Italy at the time. And then there was a guy, Plato, who was very famous in the communities at the time for face pulling. He was the first one to do Starecta, I think only a couple months before me. And then I did it. And then in the coming year, I think a lot of other foreigners started doing it. And then the plug and play only came a couple years later. So what is Starecta? Starecta is a do-it-yourself approach where you use a lower splint. And at the time, you would make the letter O and you would bite into this acrylic resin. Now people use polymorph. And you would essentially create the imprint of your teeth into that lower splint. And then when it dried, it would hold your jaw in that position. And typically it was a little bit of protrusion. When I first started doing it back then, like I was experimenting with, doing a lot of protrusion and different things. There was not as set a way to do it as there is now. And the main thing that Starecta had always positioned itself as was posture, because that was the main issue that I think Moreno had. And for me, it was less about posture, although my whole back and neck had changed a lot from, a dentist in Vietnam drilling my teeth flat back in early 14. My main thing was I had this, deep brain fog, so I couldn't really work. And I was trying to become functional again so I could hold on to my job. That was my goal when I started Starecta in about November 2014. And Starecta believed in this molar lever where the back teeth sort of act like a lever, like almost like a seesaw, and it would lever your head up back onto your spine correctly. That was the mental model I had for years about how this stuff works. And this is really important because I think that was something that I had to break later on in terms of the mental model. I was doing Starecta intermittently from 14 till about 17. I think after 17, I was always doing something else. So between 14 and 17, I was not doing Starecta the whole time. I started with Starecta and then I felt like I had plateaued and I was going backwards sometimes. And I started testing other things and was testing Meyer brace and testing flat plane. And then starting in early to mid 16, I started testing ALF appliance. It became more of a mixed bag in terms of what I was doing, but I would often fall back on Starecta if I thought that whatever experiment I was doing was not really working. I'm proud to say my skull and my neck and my initial improvements from late 14 till mid 15 are still on the Starecta website. And I really did make some really good progress in that initial period. And I don't want to take anything away from the guys because I really owe that, I was in a really bad state and I would not have gotten out of that if it were not for Starecta. And my story on Starecta, you can find it on Tooth for a Tooth blog. I think I had a blog on a different blog and then they ended up pulling that blog down. But I guess the guys at Tooth for a Tooth had copied that article before it came down. So now I think it's the only place where that initial story that I'd written up about my journey can be found. Now, to explain how I evolved away from Starecta, I think it's important to set some context. So in 15, I remember I was extremely active in the Starecta Facebook group, 15 and probably even into 16. And at that period, I think Moreno was doing some of his own testing and he'd gone kind of quiet on the Facebook group. So I was probably the most active poster. And there were a bunch of other people, foreigners that had joined in at that time. And I really kind of got involved and I'd started experimenting because I felt like I'd plateaued, and I'd asked Moreno, and he was giving me some other ideas. And so, like, it felt a little bit like he was still figuring it out. That's when I started testing some other ideas. And I was also doing a lot of myofunctional therapy, and I was really following the muse at the time. And I had released my tongue tie, I think in 15 or 16. So I was posting about all this stuff on the Starecta group, even though it should have been a group about Starecta, and I think at some point, like, he got a bit frustrated. I think a lot of those posts got deleted. Those experiments were critical for me in terms of trying to figure out how this stuff works. And especially when I was doing a flat plane splint with the alpha planes with my dentist, I was using a dentist from Texas. That kind of gave me this whole thing of, measuring the curve of the occlusal contacts. So that got me into the idea of the occlusal contacts. And then it was all my discussions with Marcello in 17 that taught me about the curve of Spee. And then I put two and two together, how the curve of Spee and like these contacts that I was drilling and how they're connected and how you should see the curve on the dental splint. And it was by measuring that as I was doing these different experiments, in 17, 18, 19, where I realized that, okay, like with Starecta, you're not really making improvements on this curve at some point. You're just kind of going in circles, and sometimes you're getting worse. And so that's where I concluded, when I was using just a myo brace and doing some of the stretches that I learned on my own, I would continue to progress, whereas with Starecta I was not. And therefore, this is where I came up with my rules that if you add height and you don't lock the occlusion, you continue to improve. Whereas if you lock the occlusion, and Starecta is essentially locking the occlusion, or dentists like to call it an index bite, holding your jaw in a certain position, that if you do that, you will stop making progress at some point. Right? And that's why I think a lot of people that did Starecta have these stories of where they improved a lot early on, and then they kind of flatlined, and then they just, I think a lot of those stories, like the people end up going in circles for a long time after that. The biggest difference between Starecta and the Reviv 1 is that the Reviv 1 doesn't lock an occlusion. So they both add vertical, but the second part of locking an occlusion, Starecta essentially sets you into an indexed bite position, whereas Reviv, you're not locked into any position. You're just wearing this rubber guard where your jaw can move around a little bit. That is how it's different. And if you were measuring your progress on the tracking splint, I think you would see that with Starecta, at some point you'll plateau and you won't be making any more progress. Whereas if you continue with the rubber guard, like Reviv 1, like you continue progressing. Yep, that's it. Thanks.